20-year-old Adam Lanza. Police said today that they've gathered what they describe as good evidence on the possible motive for this deadly rampage, but they're not releasing that information, at least not yet. They want to go through and review and make sure it's precise. School employees who were inside the school during the shooting are starting to come forward to describe their harrowing ordeal. Earlier this morning, the school librarian who worked at the school talked about the school's principal, one of the victims in this tragedy.
She wasn't in her office, she was in a meeting. So he went in the front door. If you go in the front door of the building, the office is right in front of you. And then if you take a left, he went by the first classroom, and the next two classrooms were where the shooting took place. And she, I heard, was in a meeting across the hallway. And she must have come out and confronted him on his way down the hallway.
What did you hear that were killed?
The school psychologist, Mary Sherlock, was killed. And the two teachers and I think two aides in that classroom were killed.
We've heard so much about moments of courage and people, acts of heroism. What can you tell us about the reaction of some of the other teachers in protecting their children?
I think, everybody does what they have to do when they're confronted with a situation like that. And everybody, we practice it and they knew what to do. And you think about protecting the kids and just doing the right thing.
How had you practiced this?
Oh, we have lockdown drills. I don't remember how many, but there's rules about you have to have a certain number of fire drills a year and a certain number of evacuation drills and a certain number of lockdown drills. So the kids know the routine. And the teachers know the routine, and everyone has a spot in their room where they're supposed to go to. And
can you describe that spot for us?
Well, in the library, it's between some bookcases against a wall where you can't be seen from any windows. We had to move out of that spot because one of our doors wasn't locked, we discovered, so we went into a back storage room and locked the kids in there.
How close were you together?
Children quiet?
We were like this close together.
How did you panic the children quiet?
There was crayons and paper in the storage room in the back, and we tore some up and gave them clipboards and had them color and draw pictures.
So what did you tell them?
Was it with you or were you alone?
There was 3 other adults with me. They were asking what's going on. We said we don't know. Our job is to stay quiet. It may be a drill, it may not, but we're just going to stay here.
And you didn't know at that point?
We knew because I called the office and she told me there was a shooter.
We're about to learn, we think, the names of the victims of this horrific attack. Once again, 20 school children, ages between 5 and 10 years old. They died in this rampage. 6 adults were among those shot inside the school as well, including the school principal and the school psychologist. CNN's Nick Valencia is joining us now with more on what's going on. We're learning a little bit more about these victims, aren't we, Nick?
We are, and there's just terrible, tragic stories coming out of this shooting in Newtown, Connecticut. Wolf, I'm sure you're feeling the effects there. It's a tough story to cover for all of us, and no one in America has not had a feeling or shed a tear about this, I'm sure. We've waited all morning to get this complete list of the victims. So far, local police have not released the names, but CNN has been able to independently confirm 2 of those names, Wolf, one being Dawn Hochsprung, 47 years old. She was the principal that you just heard the library clerk talk about. Dawn Hochsprung was described as somebody that you would want educating your children, Wolf. She's the teacher's teacher. She was a very involved educator with memorable enthusiasm, and as you see from that photo there on your TV screen, somebody with just a beautiful smile. Those who remember her say she created an environment, Wolf, that made people feel accepted and important. She had been working her way up through the Connecticut school system and had spent some time in elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools, and had taken the job there at Sandy Hook Elementary School about 2 years ago. Not just a teacher, also somebody very passionate about her own education. She had just recently enrolled in a PhD program. She leaves behind a husband, Bill, two stepdaughters, 2 daughters, and 3 stepdaughters as well. We heard as well Mary Sherlock, 56 years old. She's the school psychologist. She was also a victim there of the school shooting. We heard the library clerk talk about this meeting that was taking place among some of the administrators. They heard this loud pop, pop, pop in the hallway. They went to investigate Wolf, and at which point were confronted possibly by the gunman, and they never returned. But Mary Sherlock was described by people that knew her as somebody that was part of the crisis intervention team. So this is a person, Wolf, that people would be going to and grieving with at a time of something like this, and she's no longer around for people to talk to. She's just not with us anymore. Mary Sherlock was an expert in psychology. She had gotten her master's from Southern Connecticut State University, and also spent a lot of time working in the community, Wolf, did a lot of work with disabled adults. So those are just two of the names of the 26 victims that fell victim to the suspected shooter yesterday in Newtown, Connecticut. Wolf?
Yeah. Two names, and they're going to be releasing the rest of the names